excited to be joined here with Shauna Weinkoff, who is a spiritual coach and energy worker. And she's going to be talking about a workshop that she has coming up on February 16th. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me tonight.
Can you start off by telling me a little bit about the Witch and Wine events that you host, and also highlight the chakra beaded wind chime one that you have coming up on February 16th?
Sure. So the Witch and Wine events are sort of a series of events. I hold them bi-weekly, roughly. I've had a handful of ones that have happened already. So this upcoming one is on February 16th, which is a Thursday night, and we are making chakra beaded wind chimes. I guess it's more like a sun catcher than a wind chime because it won't really make noise, but chakras are energy centers in your body. Most people have heard something about chakras, but maybe don't know a lot about them. So they each pertain to a different energy center in your body. And when these energy centers become unbalanced or blocked, your energy feels off and it can call up in your body in different physical and emotional ways. So making these chakra bead wind chimes or sun catchers, having those in your space and the colors that represent each chakra helps bring in balance of energy for you in whatever area that you are hanging it in. So in the event, the women come and I guide them sort of with an idea of an inspiration of what they can create, but it is totally up to them on how they create it. And each one turns out so different. And then the beautiful thing, like you said, is connection and building community with other women in the community.
And how long have you been practicing as an energy worker and a spiritual guide?
I would say going on, well, pretty much my entire life. I've been doing a lot of the things, not so much the Reiki, but the intuitive and spiritual stuff without really realizing what it was. And then I went through a big sort of upheaval in my life with postpartum depression, and it sort of kickstarted my big self journey and discovering more about myself. And that's where I started learning more about Reiki and the different healing modalities and who I identify as and what that means, and then created a business from it.
So after all this self-discovery and life experience you have, is that why you wanted to bring an event like this to Lloydminster, because you know the power behind it?
Absolutely. I know for myself, before I started creating these events, it's hard as a mom and as a woman. There's not a whole lot to go out and do unless you go out for supper or a movie or you have a good friend group already. So I wanted to create a space for women to come and gather together, whether they came by themselves or with a friend, and they could meet new people. They could maybe explore some things that they maybe were interested in, but are a little bit outside of the normal box, and make it more mainstream and more comfortable and a safe space for women to explore these parts of themselves, because that was something that I wished I had, so I want to provide that for other women in the community.
So for anyone who may be wanting to get out of the house for a girls' night with maybe a friend or a family member or even themselves, where can they sign up for this workshop?
So there is a Facebook event. You can find that on my Gemini Soul Wellness Facebook page in the upcoming events section. And the event has all the information about it. It has a ticket link so they can go online and purchase their tickets. There are limited spaces, so there's only 6 spaces total, because I have a little bit of a smaller studio space, and so there's only 4 spaces remaining. So they tend to sell out fast, but if you go onto the Facebook event, you'll be able to find out all the information from there.
All right, Shauna, it was a pleasure talking with you and learning about this workshop you have coming up on February 16th. But that is all the time we have today, so thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.